And yeah, so we'll finish in an hour, but I will stay after 2 in case anybody has any questions or needs help registering. And I have my partner in crime, Patricia, who's going to later show example of her course that she's conducted at a different institution, but it's still under Brightspace. So
Oh,
it's always
great.
nice to have
Okay, good.
uh, a professor who has used the tool show us. I think that's always key, and I've always tried to bring in faculty in the mix so we can all share. Um,
That's good.
One thing I do want to start with is I've noticed several people were having trouble registering. So I think it would be valuable to spend at least 2 minutes of time and just show real quick the registration link, which could be a little confusing. I admit I did it the same. I didn't. I tried to log in with my FIT account and not clicking registration
You're
first.
talking
So
about the sandbox.
the sandbox, yes,
Yeah. Okay.
the Brightspace Sandbox. Thank you, Patricia. So this is what I'm referring to. This is so if you
Yeah,
go
the username has to be the whole email. And I was
right,
doing it as just the regular username that we use.
right.
But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's excellent, excellent point. Patricia, what I did was that I didn't even bother to click on this link my first time, and I just tried to log in with my FIT credentials, thinking that I was going to register. So that was my mistake, and which is, you know, it, it can happen to anyone. So, but you have to make sure to click on this link up here at the top, right? So, if you haven't yet registered, and then once you click on this link, it's going to take you to another page where it will ask for your FIT email address, and then I think it asks you for a password. And then once you've done that, then you can come back here and then log in to the Brightspace temporary sandbox. But again, if anybody has had trouble getting in and logging into the Brightspace sandbox, I will stay um, a few minutes after two to help anyone who might need help registering and logging into the Brightspace sandbox. So let me just click login, and that will take me in. So since I'm already registered, and all I did was just click login with my email address and password, and that took me right in. So today, I want to cover uh, creating assignments, which I think is so crucial, right? Being able to create an assignment so that students can submit via either in person or a digital file. And as we've gone remote, we've seen that this is a valuable tool, right, to be able to create assignments on the learning management system, and then to be able for students to submit their work digitally. But not only that, we're also going to cover how you can grade the papers and how to mark up and provide feedback for your students. So that will take up easily 1 hour. But before we jump into that, I do want to show you how to add some items or to build your course in Brightspace. And if you haven't yet registered or logged into Brightspace, the sandbox, you'll see that you have two courses available to you. You're going to have the sample course with data, and this is a pre-built course just for you to be able to see what a pre-built course will look like. And then you will also have an empty course shell. And in that empty course shell, obviously there's nothing in there, and so you can build from there. So real quick, I just want to show you how to add an item, any type of item to your course, and also how to create a quick folder, in this case, what they call a module in Brightspace. So I went into this English 1101 course, which you all have access to if you go into the Brightspace sandbox. And you see that you already have pre-built content in there. There's some announcements. There's some modules already laid out for you. But if we go real quickly, and by the way, you can follow me along if you wish on the sandbox, or just if you want to watch, that's fine too. Either way. But I'm going to go into the content area of this course. This is very similar to Blackboard. When you see the content area, and I just want to show real quick, and I kind of covered this on the first workshop last week, but real quickly, I just want to show that you can easily create a new unit, right? And here we have welcome, then we have unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, and then there's a folder here called your last day. So what I want to do real quick is I want to show you how I can add unit 4, and then I can move it between unit 3 and your last day. So just real quick, I want to show you that, and then we'll move on to assignments, because I think this is also very important as you're playing around in the sandbox for you to know how to add folders and how to add items to those folders. So I'm going to click on add a module, and I'm going to call this unit 4. I'll say like review for final. Once I've typed the title for this folder, I'll call them folder for now. You have to, on the keyboard, you press return if you're on a Mac. If you're on a PC, you'll hit the enter key, right? There's nothing else here that says submit. And as you remember in Blackboard, everything went through by the submit button. But we don't have submit buttons here in Brightspace. And so in this case, for this folder to get created, you actually have to click on the return key or the enter key on the keyboard. So that's another thing that's different in Brightspace than in Blackboard. So I'm on a Mac, so I'm clicking on the return key. Once I clicked on the return key or the enter key, if you're on a PC, you'll notice, just like Blackboard, the folder is created and is thrown down to the bottom. Just like in Blackboard, everything goes to the bottom, right? But I want this folder to go in between Unit 3 and your last day folder. So this is something that we couldn't do easily in Blackboard, which is to move things around. I'm going to click on these little dots to the left of the title, left click on it, hold the left click, and then just drag it to where I want that folder to go. And it does it really quick. It's very responsive. As you can see, I was able now to create a folder called Unit 4. Then I was able to move it in between Unit 3 and the last day folder. Now that I have the folder in the correct place, now I want to do something that I've done for Unit 3, which is it has a nice little banner, and there's some description about that unit folder. So I'm going to go real quick to Unit 4, and right under add a description, this is where then you can create a banner for this unit level, right? So let's say I know Patricia and I know Jane, you both have nice images that you have at the top of the unit level, like a little image introducing your students to that folder. So this is where then you would click on this little icon of a mountain. This is the image or insert image, right? So you want to go into this little icon of a mountain. That's what it looks like to me, two little mountains with the moon. So that's insert image. And then I can go to my computer, click upload. And let me see if I have something I can use here. I didn't prepare anything, but oh yes, I have the fabric image from before. So I'm going to use the fabric image, click add. And this is a decorative image. So maybe, I mean, if it's something that you want to do for ADA compliance, you have to describe the image. So a picture of colorful fabric. But if the image has no learning meaning to it. There's no reason for you, and it's just decorative. You can always just click this little box here, and it will mark it as a decorative image, and it will be compliant with ADA compliant. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And so there's my image, and then I might have some verbiage under that. This unit will the learning outcomes for unit 4, and then I might just have a bulleted list here, let's say numbered list. Oops, I don't want to put it on the title. I want to put it after that. So here I would say A, B, and then I can make this bulleted. Right? And so here we're going to cover learning objective number 1, learning objective number 2, right? And so this is what the student will see before they jump into unit 4, right? And then to finalize, oh, actually, let me do one more thing. Before I submit this, I want to show you that then under, I can just click update, right? And now this is the banner for this unit. But right below that, now I can begin to start adding the learning sequence for unit 4. And like we did the first week or 1 week ago on the first workshop, I clicked upload create, and then here you have the drop down menu of the many items that you can add. A quiz, discussion, you know, all of these things can be and once we go live with FIT instance, you might see here Screencast-O-Matic, you might see Padlet or VoiceThread, right? So again, once we go live, you'll see this list will grow with the tools that we have integrated into the instance. Okay, so now just real quick, I just want to show you that now if I go out, if I jump out of this course, and if I go back into it, you'll see now that unit 4 is now part of my, oh, it went to page 2, right? So I have 4 items, but if I go to page 2, you will see my unit 4, and there it is with the nice fabric image and in the title.
We don't see your text. Do we have to click on it to see the text that you wrote?
Oh, yes, that's a great point. Let me actually, you know what, Stan, let me go in as a student. I should have just gone in as a student. That'll be a better simulation, a better way to simulate the experience as a student. All right, so let's go to page 2. And oh, okay, so it doesn't show the text. The text will probably be shown once I go into the folder, and there's my description.
Last question, if we do not upload an image, that is the same pane just for writing text. Is that correct?
Correct. That's a good point, Stan. If you don't want to add a visual there, it will be the same pane for text.
And does your image have to be a 24:10 aspect ratio, or will it stretch it to 1024?
That's a great point. I intentionally added this image for that reason, being a wide, but that's a good, I think it will stretch, but I haven't tested that yet. That's something I can add to my list of things to to try out later. Any questions?
Could you show one without a picture?
Oh, how it would look without the picture?
Yeah.
Sure. So always remember to switch back from the student mode back to the teacher, right? Because then if I'm still as a teacher, I won't be able to edit, right? Students are not able to edit your course. So by to go back as a teacher, you will just click on this little X, and now I'm back as a teacher, and now I'm able to edit. So if you get stuck and wondering why I can't edit the course, it's most likely that you're still in as a student preview mode. So let's go now back to number 4, and let me just remove the image, because I actually wanted to show you all how to remove and how to remove content from your course, because it's different than it is in Blackboard. This is something that you have to get used to. To delete, you would have to go at the top here in the title for Unit 4, there's a little drop down. And this little drop down is similar to how it is in Blackboard, right? You always have a title and then the little drop down arrow, or the downward arrow. And if you scroll all the way down, there it is, delete module. It's kind of hidden. And maybe, when we launch the FIT instance, we might make this a little easier so you don't have to dig in deeper into the drop-down menu to delete items. But let me just delete the image. So let me just go here and edit. Oh, no, sorry. Edit title is for just a title. I have to go to, I'm forgetting where, oh, here it is. I had to click on the actual image. And now from here, if I delete the banner, right, so I have my blinking cursor to the right of the image, so I can just simply backspace or delete on the keyboard. And I just remove the banner, and then I click update. Now that banner is gone, and let's see how it will look now without the image. And I will go in as a student again. View. This is similar to the evil eye in Blackboard. We used to call it the evil eye. View as student. Jeffrey coined the term, I think. And because it looked like an evil eye. Here we go. Page 2. Oh, look at that. It put in there a default image.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that's something I have to figure out. Is there a way to not have a default image, right? So, but if we go into Unit 4, if we actually click on it, there shouldn't be an image in there. Yeah, see that? It's gone.
Can
It's
you edit
only
the text? Can you edit the text only without having first going through the image deletion process?
Sure, let's do that. Let's do that. And then we'll jump into an assignment real quick. Okay, so let's go back as a teacher, right? So I'll stop viewing as a student. And let's just edit the text. So let's go to the next page, review for final. And I'm going to click right inside there. And then let's say I want to add more learning objectives.
Very
That's
simple.
how.
Very simple. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes, it is kind of straightforward. The only thing I didn't find too straightforward, Stan, I think it was. Let me go back and just let me demonstrate that one more time. This part I didn't find it too straightforward is that I actually just have to click inside or on it. There's no edit button here that says here edit. You know what I mean? You actually have to click in. You actually have to click in the area that you want to edit something. So I have to click inside here. Then now it brings me the WYSIWYG, for editing.
And also, you also hit update. You don't have to hit enter on the keyboard.
Yes, it's not consistent, right? You had to, in the other case, I had to click update here to right. That's a good point. Whereas for the title, I can just change the title and just hit the return key, and there was no submit there. That's a good point. I think that was Rob, right? Is
Yes.
that Rob?
Yes, it was. I'm sorry. Yes, it was.
I had to connect the voice to the face. Yes. So you're correct, Rob. Right. So if I update the title, I'm just doing with the keyboard and hit return, and there's no submit here. But here I did have to hit submit to update, right? So I had to go here. So that's another difference. Keep in mind these little nuance, right? This little differences from Blackboard to Brightspace. Now let's talk about assignments, right? Assignments is the big one. Let's create an assignment. And one thing I want to mention, which I did mention last workshop, but I think it's important to mention again because it will affect the way that your teaching style, it will affect your teaching style and the way that you design or the way that you're used to designing your courses, is that Brightspace, as you're designing your course, and if you're going, let's say, to Unit 1 here in this case, right? You're building the sequential order from top to bottom, right? You're teaching them the foundations the easy stuff first, and you're building up, building up, building up, and then you might have a quiz. And this is what I'm referring to as a learning sequence, right? Just like it is like a lesson plan in your face-to-face class, you have a plan set out. With Brightspace, this is very important because I recommend that you build in a sequential manner, right? In the order, do this first, then do this next, and then do this, and followed by this, and followed by that. I recommend you think in that way because Brightspace will, as you're building your course, Brightspace will collect these items here at the top and will group them into these little buckets called assignments, discussions, quizzes. So I just want to repeat that because I think it's very important to know that. Because you might have students who just prefer to go into the assignment buckets and just look at all the assignments in one shot. As long as you made them available, right? If they haven't yet been released, they won't see them. So I just want to stress that point that students can either go into a bucket and look at a group of assignments or a grouping of all the discussions, or they can just go into Unit 1 and then follow that learning sequence.
So Jose, I assume that you set this up when you did the sequence as an assignment or a discussion or a quiz, so that's how it finds that default?
Yes. So you're saying, Todd, right?
Yeah.
You're saying that by default, Brightspace is grouping them up here, right?
Correct.
Yes. So Brightspace is doing that for you.
But they know it as you've built that in Unit 1, as you built each one of those things, you've created it as a discussion or as an assignment or as a quiz, and that's how it knows to go there.
Exactly. That's how it knows. That's how Brightspace knows how to group them, because when you go here and you create something new, depending on the choice, right? Let's say right, if you do a new assignment, Brightspace knows automatically that this is an assignment. So it's doing half the work for you. You're creating the assignment in the learning sequence for that unit, but Brightspace is doing the secondary work of taking that assignment for you and putting it in the group of assignment group or the assignment category for you. So you don't have to do that. In Blackboard, you had to do that yourself.
Thank you.
I have a question, Jose. It's Lauren. So to your point about building the course in sequential order, that's just an effective way to kind of manage it. But if you did a whole series of different sequence from Unit 1 versus 2, because you bucketed them the right way, the assignments and so forth, like you just described, will come up on those locations, correct?
Correct. It will come up. Now, Lauren, this also affects the modality that you're teaching in, right? If you're teaching face-to-face, you don't really care too much about learning sequences because you're doing it you're doing it physically in the classroom. So keep that in mind, right? I'm trying to be broad here for also, I'm coming from the online. The online world, we go learning sequence, right? Because there is no classroom. There is no physical classroom for you to tell them what to do next. Everything is done in a sequential manner. And so for an online class, you would go with the learning sequence method and then have Brightspace group those items for you. In a face-to-face class, and this is where Patricia is going to show you all later in her class, where she's putting them into, she's chunking her material into these groups or these little packages or parcels, right, of material.
So one last thought about that. Therefore, I don't know if you have the answer yet, when we get the transfer from Blackboard, will an assignment recognized or an aspect of content that's recognized in Blackboard, will it be already bucketed? That is, will it end up?
That's a great question, Lauren. Yes, I did that already, right? So maybe I'll have another workshop in the future on how to import your Blackboard course into Brightspace, that was one of the first things that I did. And you can actually do this in your sandbox right now. And I'm gonna say this because I think it's very important for you all to archive your work from Blackboard and save it somewhere, whether it's on a thumb drive or on the cloud, whether it's Google Drive, I highly recommend you all to do that. Even though Brightspace is saying that, hey, we'll migrate everything for all faculty, but I'm seeing it from your perspective. I know the blood, sweat, and tears that many of you have put through the years of developing your courses, designing it to the, to exactly what you really want it to be, and then something goes wrong, and then you don't have a backup of it or an archive. So,
Jose?
Yes, Dan?
Hi, Ira.
Ira, hi. Oh.
Hi. Quick question. So in Blackboard, you can have the same content 2 places through a course link. So for example, I could have chapter 4 slides in a folder designated slides, and I could also have it in online unit 4 in sort of a sequential content folder. Can I do the same thing?
A little different, Ira. Let me go back real quick one step, but let me answer Lauren's first. Lauren,
I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
No. But I just got to remember. Lauren, when you migrate from Blackboard, the assignments that were in Blackboard are recognized in Brightspace as assignments.
Okay.
Now, when I migrated and I imported a course, you still have to move things around. It's not perfect. It's not all harmony. I imported my online training course into Brightspace, and things were scattered around. But at least I had my content. I didn't have to recreate any of that stuff. I just had to move things around a little bit and make it a little bit organized. Because again, it's a.
So how I labeled something in Blackboard, for example, if I identified it as some kind of item versus an assignment, the way I handled it, it'll come up obviously under that code. Okay.
And again, from my experience from that one import that I did have to move some things around. So it's not going to be 100%, but at least you're not starting from zero. You know what I mean? At least you have. So I'm not guaranteeing that's going to be perfect exactly the way it looks on Blackboard. You're going to have to move some things around. And now, real quick to Ira. The question, Ira, was, it depends, Ira. If notice, right, like if I do a PDF document and I upload, there is no category for PDF, so there's no way for it to categorize it. It would be assignments, discussions, quizzes. That makes sense?
Right. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. So if I have PowerPoint slides embedded in a content folder, and I want them to be available throughout the semester for review.
Right.
But I want them specifically viewed in Unit 2, arranged sequentially. Week 2 or Unit 2. Do I put the slides both places, or is there a course link equivalent, or?
Oh, I see. Yes.
You see what I'm saying? The same content in Blackboard can appear multiple places intentionally using course link.
Yes.
If I understood what you said earlier, you said that Brightspace basically puts it in a folder based on how you tag it.
Yes. So this is another good thing with Brightspace. Blackboard did have it, but didn't really work that well. Is this from Upload Create is called Add an Object from the Learning Repository.
Okay.
And so as you add items, let's say PDFs and or slides, PowerPoint slides, as you're adding content to your course, it goes into the learning object repository, which then you can reuse and put them in, let's say from Unit 2, you also want those slides to be shown in, say, Unit 5 again. You can then go into the learning object repository and bring that item in again because it's already been uploaded once into the class. So Brightspace keeps an account of those items that you've uploaded into the system and then allows you to then reuse those items elsewhere in the course for redundancy.
So it does what content collection was supposed to do?
was supposed to do. that's, that's better. That's a better way to put it. Yes.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
um, okay, so let me go real quick into creating an assignment because I know this is going to be one of the key items for developing or designing a course in Brightspace. Is obviously what we used to call a Dropbox assignment in Blackboard, and it's under new assignment. This is what they call it. So what I did was, number one, same thing like as in Blackboard. You go to the folder where you want it to live in. If I want that assignment to go into Unit 1, you make sure that you're in Unit 1 folder by clicking on Unit 1. And then you know that you're in Unit 1 because just like in Blackboard, at the top, it does say Unit 1. Now, I don't see breadcrumbs like we used to have in Blackboard. Remember, we would have, oh, you're in Unit 1, then you're a subfolder of Unit 1, from left to right. But you can see it that you are in Unit 1, and this is where I want this assignment to live in. So then once I know that I'm in the correct folder, I can just go here and click Create, and then click New Assignment. And here I can give it a title, Unit 1, Paper, right? Here, is this a gradable item? Is it going to go into the grade book, right? So this is where you decide, well, I'm going to grade this out of 100. Is it going into the grade book, or is it not going into the grade book, right? I'm not going to talk about the grade book because the grade book in Brightspace, I think is going to be a little bit more challenging than Blackboard, only because it's much more customizable, right? Blackboard just gave you here one brand, and this is it. You make it your own. Whereas Brightspace will be much more customizable, and that I have to get together with Jeffrey for a workshop just on the gradebook on Brightspace because it's going to have a lot of more features, flexibility for you to design your own gradebook. Here is the due date for this assignment. Let's say, actually, let's keep it for today. I'll leave it open. It's just for the purpose of demonstrating it today. And then here are your instructions, right? So let's say, read chapter 10. And Patricia's, if you can have your example ready, because Patricia's going to show us some examples of how she created assignments in her class. And I just want also to show from a perspective of another teacher who actually has used Brightspace and has designed assignments. So I'm just going to create a really quick example, and then I'm going to turn it over to Patricia to show us something that she already has done with Brightspace. And write a 500.
Jose, Catherine has had her hand up a while.
Oh, I'm sorry. Catherine, we want to go ahead? I'm sorry. I missed.
Thank you. I actually had a question that went back to Lauren's question. But I can hold it until later because I don't want to pull you out of your stream.
Okay, I'll make sure to stop because I know I'm just trying to make sure I have enough time for Patricia to show.
I understand. So I'll just get back to you.
Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate that. Patricia's going to show you this in more detail, but again, just like in Blackboard, you can add links, right? I can create a link by going into the WYSIWYG and add a link. I can also add images, and Patricia will show you that better in a second. But again, this is very similar to Blackboard. Nothing here has changed dramatically. The only thing I can tell you is that in Brightspace, you can actually humanize the experience by recording an audio. Is there a question I hear?
Jose, before you turn it over, can you add your PDFs in this same pane to keep everything together? We have copy,
Perfect.
and then we have the PDFs. Can we do that?
Sure, perfect. That's a great question, Stan. So yes, the answer is yes. Just like in Blackboard, you can attach a PDF. So here at the bottom, there's multiple ways that you can add the document. Let's say if I had a template for them to work, like a Word document template that I want them to download the Word document and then type and fill in the paper in this type of document. or it could be a PDF, or it could be the chapter 10 assignment. They can read it here. Or I can add the video here, the YouTube video. I can just add the video here, do it that way. Or let me do the attachment like Stan just said. So I'm going to do file upload, my computer. Oh, and by the way, this is where you can actually pull IRA from the Learning Object Repository, right? You can go into the locker and pull stuff from there. But I'm going to go into my computer, and I'm just going to click upload. And there is a 2 gig, which is a lot. 2 gig is a lot of memory account that I don't know if your students are going to upload a paper that's going to be 2 gigs. You know, that's going to be, so I think this is good enough. But again, once we get our instance, Brightspace, I'll know more about the file size. So I'm going to go ahead and upload this PDF that I have here. Let's see if I find something that I can use. Oh, let's use this rubric as a PDF. This could be the document. So I selected the PDF that I want to attach to this assignment, and then I click open. And there is the title of the document. I'm only going to click on add, and that will add the document to the assignment. And there it is. You can see it clearly right here, and it's been attached to the assignment. Now, real quick, this is on the right-hand side now. This is where we're done here from the left-hand side. Now I'm jumping over to this right-hand side. And this is where you can control the availability dates and the conditions. So if I click on the little arrow, I can put my start date. I can put my end date. I can put special release conditions. Like I can say, well, if the students have completed the video and the discussion, then release this assignment. Those are some release conditions similar to Blackboard had these logical conditions that you can say, well, after they completed this, then release this assignment. Or I can do special access. And so this, you can set it to individual or a group or only to a specific student. If you only want a specific student to have access to this assignment, Brightspace gives you much more flexibility as to who can see the assignment. Submission and completion. Is it an individual assignment or is it a group assignment? This is really neat. I like this a lot. This was not in Blackboard. You had to go to the gradebook to figure this out. But if you're an avid user of the gradebook in Blackboard, you're going to love this feature because now I can drop this assignment directly under a category in the gradebook. That is really cool. I'm not going to do that for now. This is really nice. You can control whether it's a file submission or if it's a face-to-face class, you can observe in person in the classroom. So you can change the type of submission. Not only can it be digital submission, but it could be a, you know, an actual paper or observed in person, and then you give the grade. You can set it to limited to 1 file upload or unlimited, right, per submission. So if it is multiple files the students are uploading, then you would do unlimited. This is really cool because then you can control what file type can the student submit. Is it a PDF? Is it a Word doc? If it's a Word doc, then you can just go here and put docx, and it will only accept docx files. We didn't have this in Blackboard, so that's nice to have. There's a question? No? Okay, if there's no question, I'll continue. Here you can control all submissions are kept. This is similar to Blackboard, right? If you allow multiple attempts, only keep the most recent, right? So this is the same as Blackboard. This doesn't change. And then if you want to add a notification email, right? The professor wants to get notified at a separate email when those submissions are coming through, then you can do that here. This is the rubric area. You can add a rubric right here by simply add rubric. This is something that I'm not going to cover, but in an advanced workshop in the future, we're going to talk about how Brightspace allows you to link your learning objectives to assignments. which is really neat for online learning. Is there a question?
Yes, will we be able to add Padlets to this?
Yes, Claire, you can add Padlets. Padlets are coming over. VoiceThread still coming over. Screencast-O-Matic is coming over. What
Okay.
else? What else? All the main tools that we currently use will come over. So you don't, no worries about discontinuing any of the tools that we're currently using. All that will carry over. And I already tested Padlet in Brightspace, so there's no issue.
I didn't see it up at the top, make a Padlet.
Jose,
Oh,
is Connect part of that? McGraw-Hill Connect?
those third-party vendors with the textbooks, those are, I don't know yet. I know SUNY is working with a lot of the third-party vendors to kind of bring everybody at a discounted price. I don't have much information about that, like Pearson, McGraw-Hill. I'm sure they will, but I don't have information as of now, as of yet. Things are moving really fast. More information will come as we go forward.
So we don't know if Connect assignments will come into Blackboard? Into Brightspace?
I don't want to say yes. I'm sure something will. I don't know yet. I don't.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not sure.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm just
no, I understand. Yeah, I understand. But I'm sure something will work out. But just as of right now, I don't have. I know SUNY schools are meeting. I know there's a committee. But anyway, let me move forward because I know I got 20 minutes. I want Patricia to show her course real quick.
One
Jane
question,
had a question
please.
too.
Before
Sure,
you
Stan,
go,
go ahead.
on the left side up at the top, points in gradebook, they do. In Blackboard, if we didn't put in the points, it kicked us back. What if we leave everything blank? Because we are grading in class, we're talking in class, can we leave everything blank, including points?
That's a good point, Stan, because I don't see the required star. So I could leave it blank and it won't stop. Oh, it did stop me. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so a grade out of is required. So I'm surprised that they didn't put a little star, an asterisk, just like how they have the name required. So it will stop me from going forward. Good catch, Stan.
Jose, that right side that you just went through with our rubrics and the things that we bring over, will that come over with the current Blackboard into Brightspace, or just the courses and content, and then all of that on the right side will have to be redone? Once we load it into Brightspace.
Oh, I see. Like if I
That's a great question.
import, yeah, it's a great question. So you're saying like if I import my course from Blackboard to Brightspace, all the assignments with the rubrics attached, will they carry over in the right place?
Yes, rubrics, and also the
Number of
events,
choices, yeah, number of times it's submitted, stuff like that.
If you scroll up, I'll be able to give you the examples of it. Right, how many times they can submit it, and
Yeah, I can check for you because I did do a migrate. I did port my course from Blackboard to Brightspace over, but I didn't look deep in the settings, so I can check that for you.
okay, I'm sure everybody would like
Jane.
to know. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a great question because all I checked was to make sure that everything carried over and then making sure that it was working properly. But then I had to move some things around. But yes, I will go deeper and check to make sure that the settings also carried over. That's a great point.
Okay, thanks.
I'm writing these down. Thank you, Jane.
Okay.
Jose, Catherine had a question in chat. I'm wondering if it might be easier to cut and paste from Blackboard so that we can keep straight what has been converted fully to Brightspace.
Well, that's a great question, Catherine. That's something that always comes to mind when faculty have multiple sessions. Manually copying stuff over, it takes up a lot of time and depends on how much content you have in your course. If you're looking at a face-to-face class with minimal content, and if you feel that that's an easier way for you to copy material over, then maybe that's the way. But if you have a big course, let's say an online course, where we build off learning sequences, right? We have a lot of material. It might be best just to archive your course, zip it, save it somewhere in the cloud or your thumb drive, then go to Brightspace, import, and carry it over that way. So it's up to you how you feel, because sometimes when you copy a course, you have to think logically. Am I keeping everything? Is it faster for me to? Am I deleting a lot of stuff? So it might be more work copying something and then having to delete and search. So it's a question I get very often, and I always say to you, how much work? Think of it from both sides, manually or copying something over, and see what's the least amount of work. And everyone has a different case, so I can't answer for everyone. But let me move right along because I want Patricia to show her course real quick. So we're pretty much done with the settings, and I will find out, Jane, I will find out for you about the settings if those get carried over, because I already have copied a course over to my Brightspace. Once we're done with this assignment and we're happy with the settings and we're happy with the way it looks, you do. Oh, and Stan, remember, this is a good one because you mentioned it last time. Visibility is key, right? Again, this looks like the evil eye back in Blackboard days. And this is then, is it visible to the students or is it not visible? So keep that in mind, that the strike through the eye, it's not visible, and the one with the clear eye means that it's visible to your student. So before you go ahead and go fast and click save and close, make sure that your visibility is what you have it set for.
That is the
And then-
default, isn't it? Visibility is the default.
I think so. I think we did it last time, and it was visibility was default. But
No,
again,
in Blackboard, visibility is defaulted. Here, it's the opposite.
it's the opposite. I think that's what we figured out last week, right? Right, Rob?
Right. So here it's the opposite. We have to hit visibility. Blackboard is defaulted to be visible unless you want to hide it.
Right, right. So let me do one little quick thing before I turn over to Patricia, which is obviously here you see all your settings. Here are the learning objectives, which you're not going to cover. But I love this feature here, completion summary, because just within this, at the macro level, right, just this assignment itself, you can clearly see who did assignment number 1 and who didn't, which ones are complete, incomplete, who's exempt. So that we don't have this in Blackboard. And I love this feature because you don't have to go to the grade book. It's right there in front of you at the macro level, right? Just for this assignment alone. And real quick, before I turn over to Patricia, I want to go in as a student real quick and show you, simulate the experience of a student by clicking on my, at the top, and then click view as a student. This is exactly the same way as in Blackboard, right? So I think I was in Unit 1. I go to Unit 1. I'm in as a student right now. And then Unit 1 paper. And then I click upload, right? I will read the instructions as a student. I download the PDF, or not download, but open the PDF and look at it. And then I click upload. And let's see, I upload the same document. Let's pretend this is my submission, right? So I'm going to submit my work as a student. Oh, remember I made it a docx. I just locked myself out. I made it a docx extension. Oh boy, I shouldn't have done that. Let me see if I can find a docx. Here we go, summarizing contracts. All right, so I do open. And it will take a docx. Now, if I have a comment for the teacher, hey, professor, I'm sorry, this is 2 days late. My dog, I don't know, got sick. And they can send you a little note here. And then I click submit. Now, this works exactly like in Blackboard. The student receives an email. Let me go to my email box. There it is. There's my receipt. This is exactly like Blackboard. Here's, if the professor doesn't receive it, hey, Jose, I didn't get your assignment. Well, I got the email to prove that I did submit. Here's the ID number, and here's a timestamp. So that works exactly like Blackboard. And then real quick, and I don't have too much time because I want to jump over to, where am I? Here. Then I want to jump over to Patricia. I want to show now that as a teacher, if I switch back as a teacher, I could do markups. Let's go to Unit 1. I can go directly to the assignment. and completion summary, right? And I think I'm a student sample. Yeah, that's me right here, student sample. This looks exactly like Blackboard. Oh, didn't take my assignment? What happened? Let me go back. I just want to show this real quick and then have you guys play with this when you go into your sandbox. Let me just go in as, oh gosh, none of these have assignments. Let me go to a different one. I'm probably screwed up with my submission. I shouldn't have made it docx, but let me find one that's already has, here we go, Poetry Slam. So let me go into this one. I just want to show you how the markup tool looks like.
Jose, while you're showing that, I just wanted to ask if everything is safe and protected when they drop down this material. That is, there's no issues or concerns about virus or anything, correct?
Well, I love that you can control the file types, right? So then you don't have a student sending you like an executable file with some malware. So I do love that feature.
So Word or PDF is safe and there's no issue.
You know, with any file, with digital files, if you have a really savvy person who is in that dark side of the world, you know, malware can be in any type, any file type. But as long as you can filter and kind of minimize, you know, the file type, that gives you another level of protection. You know, you still have to have some virus protection on your computer to just because if you're downloading stuff to your computer, that's always, you know, you leave yourself open for any student malware, you know, so I don't want to say you're 100% free from malware. But the good thing is with this is that you don't have to download, right? The document opens up right here and you don't have to download to your computer. So you can just
it's not considered downloaded, right? It's just considered, right. You just open it up right here. Okay.
Exactly. So that's one thing about this is that you don't have to download, right? And then you can mark up. This works very similar to Blackboard. I think it's actually a step up. It's a better version of what the markup looks like in Brightspace on Blackboard. Here you enter your grades, and then you can put the feedback, same as Blackboard. You can add audio feedback or video feedback to the student's work.
How does that work? Can you test that real quick?
Sure.
Audio?
Let me do a quick. Sure. Let me do a quick audio feedback. So I would do. Again, this is great for international students. If you have a class your students are English is not the first language, as you record audio, the captions will be generated on Brightspace. So that's another feature because students who are not first English, who are not English speakers, can actually look at the captions and read the captions. So that's a benefit for adding your voice. Not only that, but in an online course, you humanize the experience a little better. So let me do a quick recording for Rob. Good job. Christy, I love what you did with this poem. Just make sure you check your grammar. Stop recording for Rob. Good job. Christy, I love what you did with this poem. And I click add. I give it a title, feedback for Christy, or whatever you want to call it. Some description. And this is important. You have to choose a language because it'll make it easier for the captions, for the auto-generated captions. If you say English, automatically generate captions from the audio. We did not have this in Blackboard, so this is another feature added through Brightspace. And then I click add, and it will take some time for this to caption. And then from the student side, the student will see it in the grade area. I'm going to stop there because I'm running out of time. I want Patricia to show her course real quick because I want you to see from a professor's point of view of a course that already has been created in Brightspace. So Patricia, if you don't mind sharing your screen and just kind of go through, what you did with your course.
Okay. Apropos of what you were just saying is that I do teach a course in voice and articulation. And so I am really modeling the actual phoneme sounds of the English language. But when they do these little IPA quizzes, which is the International Phonetic Alphabet, I have to just use the symbols. And and to do that, I have to go in and out if I wanted to do something verbally. But this way, I will be able to actually model and they can actually hear the actual sound. So that I found to be nice for
Right.
Brightspace. Okay.
Right. Also for a language course, right?
Yeah,
Modern
it
languages.
is a language course.
Right.
Okay. Can you see it, everybody?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. All right. So I showed you this the other week, that this is a migrated course from Blackboard to Brightspace, but it is in a bucket style because this was a course that was going remote from a face-to-face course. In my other completely online courses, I do the units or modules, but in this one, it works pretty well in buckets. But I do them. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You can go ahead.
Okay. I do have them sequentially on the side, and we talked about using these little widgets and the welcome and the read this first and the weekly. Somebody also said something about this is really pretty much mine, and whatever videos that I do want to do in class, if I get to them, I don't get to them. This is purely my little bucket area for any kind of visual. So this is a cute little Key and Peele high on hypotenuse, and my point is if you don't speak out, somebody else will take your information and use it, possibly use it and better themselves with that. And so I've got different pieces that I go through, but I may or may not. But at least the reservoir is there for them to see, in case I do try to tape the course as well, but in case they want to see it for themselves. So here was, here are the assignment drop boxes, and I'd call them drop boxes still. And again, I have a little emoticon. You can do it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go down to another feature, another assignment. This one is a blog. And so I've got the assignment written in here, and they have an actual website to go to. I know the title of it is kind of, I don't know, it's Art of Manliness. And I was able to go onto the website and then copy and paste the actual book that they are discussing. And then going into this, here are the instructions, and the attachment is already there, and I have it visible, and I have the so this is assessments. So this is I'm trying to think if in FIT I have it as an extra credit assignment, or excuse me, I have it as a. Okay, thanks, Robert. Okay, all right. So to go back, I can just use the regular back button, or if I wanted to change anything, again, we were just discussing how you can change the actual title of it, and or go into the instructions. And again, we don't have to go anywhere. We just click on it, and then it takes you into it if you want to update anything. Jose, what else did we discuss that you wanted to very quickly go into? Was this enough?
Well,
we went. Yes.
I like that, Patricia, that you have links here for your assignment, right? You have a podcast that your students will click on this link, and there's an image. So very much the same that we would do in Blackboard, right? Those features are all still there. You can add an image, add a document, a PDF, links, images, videos. I think you have one, Patricia, where you ask your students to watch a video, and then they had to,
well, this one asks them to listen to this this blog or this podcast.
Right.
And so it is only a podcast to listen to, and then to do an essay based on that.
Right. I just I wanted them to see that this is very much similar to what we've already, have learned from Blackboard. So I don't want anyone to feel like, we're moving into a new system, but everything is going to be brand new. And that's not the case. And maybe you can speak to that, Patricia, that very much what we learned through the remote period and everything else from Blackboard, that a lot of those features are carrying over to to Brightspace. So you're not learning from scratch. That's one thing. And I just wanted to bring calm to some people who were a little worried that this was not going to be a completely whole new system and everything will be different. And that's not the case.
I can't, because of FERPA, I really don't want to go into the individual students. But here's, well, never mind. We're at 2 o'clock. All right. Okay. So yeah. So I that's why I picked that one, because it seemed to have the components that you were interested in showing. And in this case, I found this from initially, or on other cases, I would find something from YouTube and then download it and then have it in my reservoir so I could upload it, or else I could just copy and paste it right there and put it in.
Patricia, I noticed that Brightspace recognizes a URL as a link and you simply click on it.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. But I had inserted all of that too. But we have that with Blackboard too.
But you need the HTTP, you need the hypertext / www in order for it to recognize it, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Lauren has a question, but I for those people who have to go, that's okay, you guys. I have this recorded. Patricia and I will be here after 2. So anybody who has questions, or if anybody needs help in how to register for the sandbox and logging in, we're going to stay behind for anybody who has any other questions. Lauren, you have a question?
My question was, although that's again probably in another session, how the reservoir can be either constructed, or I assume it would have to be constructed because everything's coming over, at least in my case, as content or units. And I don't have one place where, as was described earlier in this session, where all of my my PowerPoint presentations would be found together. That is, if you want to see the unit, if you want to see chapter 14, you have to go into unit 10.
Yes, that's one thing I heard over the SUNY meetings, is that we're not the first cohort. We're actually cohort number 3. So there's about 30 plus schools who are going before us. And I think that's a good thing. We're going to learn a lot from them. But one thing I did hear was that there was some issues with the learning object repository. So I'm waiting to hear more from them about that, Lauren. And I will definitely let you all know as more information comes through.
Yeah,
and that's why
Lauren, you know what I'm thinking also? You have some really valid questions, and maybe those questions could be submitted to the committee that is trying to fashion our individual instance and what we need. So that would be really solid input.
Right.
You, Stan, I mean, you're very in-depth thinkers.
Well, one of the other university I'm going to be working with is cohort 1. And they're just I think in many respects, everyone does it a little bit differently, but like here right now, all they have for us is a sandbox that can't be held anything but temporary work.
Right.
Wow.
And in that case, I'm going to be completely from scratch, because it's a brand new class for the university. So nothing that I have at FIT, can transfer, of course. And that one's not, that's fully from scratch. That's cut and paste.
I see. For us at FIT, we're going to have the pilot. The pilot will be the summer, and oh gosh, I put it on my slides. What did I say last time? The pilot will be, let me go back. Yeah, so the pilot will be spring 2023, and we're going to have about 100 courses. So if you're interested in being part of the pilot, we will send out a form.
By that point, Lauren, you're going to teach us all.
I know. Yeah, Lauren's going to be an expert.
You really will.
I'm shaking right now, but we'll stay tuned.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh no, I empathize. Let me put it that way.
We can have Lauren come back and show.
And then also, what you don't use, you lose. So if you haven't used some applications in a while, to refresh yourself as well.
Take care, Ira. Jane, have a good break.
Jose.
Yes. Jose,
Yes, Jane?
The item where at the bottom we click to make the course visible to
Yes.
students, the default is to make it not visible. And so I'm wondering if everyone felt, or the majority, and I'm assuming a huge majority of FIT faculty would want it to default to visible.
Right.
Could that be
Right.
done when we have when we are using Brightspace, when they start making, can they
Right.
make an adjustment like that for us? If it's for everyone, I understand if it's, they can't do some yes and some no.
Definitely. Once Jeffrey and I are able to go to the admin panel, and then also what Patricia mentioned, right? The committee can make these, you can say, well, this is something that we would like, yeah. And then once we're able to see what's possible in the admin panel, that would be important for us to communicate as faculty our needs through that committee, and then Jeffrey and I, or whoever else is going to be in the admin panels, can then make those settings
Okay.
to fit those needs.
Okay,
But
I
didn't
vote
the,
visible.
Didn't it default? Didn't it just default to visible, Jose, on your example? I thought it
I have
did.
to go back. Yeah, I thought it did. I have to go back because I know I got confused because on the last workshop that we did last week, I think Rob mentioned it, and that caught my attention. And ever since then, I got a little bit confused. I have to go back. But again, this is great for us to go into the sandbox individually and actually look at it from our own perspective, our own eyes, and that's why it's so important for us to be in there right now playing with the sandbox to make sure these things.
I'm sorry, Professor. I think the mission is accomplished with a yellow sticky on your computer. Logic dictates, logic dictates that the default is not to view because we're loading the shell up for weeks in advance.
Yes,
Right.
And we
yes,
can
Right.
that was
all
what
of
I
the
was gonna
assignments
say, yes.
we want them on.
Right. That's a good point.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
a good point. So
Yeah, but you don't
right.
make the course visible, so they can't see it. If you, only if you make the course visible, right? Is that
One at a
still?
time.
But if the course is visible and you're trying to work on a certain project, you don't want
Right.
that visible as you are building it.
Right, so
Right.
then you make that one module you're working on not visible. If you're working on the course in advance, you make the entire course not visible. Then you work on it. Then once it's,
Okay.
you make the
It's
course
it's
visible.
six of one, half a dozen of the other. You have to learn,
Yeah, okay.
unlearn one
Depends on how you
technique
like
or
to work.
learn,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm on the make it visible list.
I hear you. I hear you.
That's
Yeah,
6
so
of
am
one,
I,
half
Jane.
entitled to yours. Yeah, I get it. I get it. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane.
Jose,
Thank you
Good
all.
luck, Lauren.
Any other
Jose, I
questions?
noticed that there's these total counts on the left that shows the content, how many units or how many items are within a bucket or something, you know? You have these like
Oh,
circled numbers and it says like 3 and 20 and 25. I guess
oh,
it's just how many pieces or how many items are in a unit.
yes. Rob, you're referring to the bucket at the top where you have everything or assignments, right?
No,
Discussions.
not at the top, on the left
Oh,
side,
let
on
me
the
share my
left
screen. Oh, on the
margin.
left.
I mean, I just don't know how relevant those are and if the students even see those. I guess I would be curious.
Oh, I know. Let me share my, maybe Patricia, you can share, or let me see.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those are the notifications of, let's say,
Oh, Jose, I just got out of it.
oh, it's
I
okay.
can't take anything.
Let me jump in real quick. I just want to make sure that
And one other thing we're going to need to remind everybody when they log on is that Brightspace wants your
Jane, have a happy
your
spring break too. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
walk because you just said it was so great.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is
Thanks,
nice.
Patricia.
I'm sorry, Rob.
No, I'm just saying when you log in, you need to have @fitnyc.edu, which in Blackboard you didn't need that, but it's one thing you're
Yeah.
just gonna have to remind everybody. But so I
That
don't know,
might,
you gotta click on something, I guess.
you're referring to these little
No,
notifications here?
no, you gotta open your course. Open the course.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Let me go in there.
Yeah, see those numbers on the left? Oh no, there's nothing there yet. Wait a minute. Click on something, open up something else, I guess.
Open a unit.
Like,
Yeah, I
like
think, I think when you open a unit maybe or something.
So let's say I go inside. I'm going to go inside Unit 1, right? Let's see what's in there. So I
Yeah.
go in.
I
So,
see the numbers
it's not
as well.
showing it now.
so I'm going to go to the next item in this learning sequence.
No, it's not here.
Are you in
Maybe.
student?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go. Should I switch as a student? Maybe that would give me a
No,
different
I don't
view.
think so. I don't know.
Let's see.
I would think that would be the province of the instructor.
Yeah, I agree.
No, it's weird. I was seeing it before. Now I don't see it.
Not sure. Is it? Are you referring to these numbers?
Don't view as a student. Don't view as a student.
Look, stay put. See where it says, is that what you mean on the bottom there on the left navigation
Oh, on the
menu?
left. There they are.
It says
There they
4.
are. All those.
Yeah, it says 12, all those. Yeah.
Yeah, 12, 2, 3. So I guess that's 2 items or 3 items that are within that space.
Yes.
But I guess so. Now the students are seeing that also.
So this is one good thing I really like about Brightspace. It lets you know how much work you've completed of the required work. So this is letting me know, or letting the student know, that I still have 4 out of 12 topics remaining for this unit.
Okay, so when you hover over it, it's telling you something. Okay.
Yes. Also, you can see it up here, Rob. It will say, well,
Yeah.
you've done, almost 54% of this unit is complete. That we did not have in Blackboard, which I like. You also see it here, Rob. You also see it at the content page. Sorry, the home page, I think it is.
Right.
Where is it? Sorry, here it is. If you go inside here, you'll see it at the bottom. See, for every unit, I have like a little progress bar.
Right.
Now, this is only under the visual table of contents. You will see it as a student with the little bubble, like we saw, right? The little bubble that says 4 or 5 or whatever. Here, you see it as a progress bar. That's something we did not have in Blackboard, which I think
you weren't seeing it when you're in the faculty view, but you are seeing it when you're in the student view.
Right, because the students, right? You want to go in as a student,
right?
But then you have to go inside, right? Yeah, I would have to go. Wait, yeah, here. I would have to go inside, and now I see it.
Right. Right.
And I think it helps the students because.
Yeah. Okay. I understand it better now. I just didn't know what it was and then how it related to that sliding bar there, but now I see it.
Yes, it's a great question, Rob. And you, as a professor, you have control as to what is required and what is not required, so that it won't count towards the total. If you say it's not required, then instead of 12, if I switch this to not required, it will then be 11.
Right. Right. Oh, well, that's important. Yeah, because I have a lot of optional content in my folders, and that's good to know too. So
that's a great point. Thank you, Rob. That's an excellent point. I didn't cover that.
All right, not a problem, but I think it's good to know because again, when I look at my units, I have lots of extra stuff that is not really, definitely required kind of stuff.
Another thing that's related to that, Rob, is that the students can bookmark.
Okay.
So if there's an item from the learning sequence that needs to be bookmarked because they have to go back regularly to see it.
Right.
That's a tough one.
Regularly, I know it's a tough word.
Well, good thing we have Patricia here. She's a speech.
That's right.
The specialist here.
That's right.
They can then bookmark and then.
It bookmarks it on their own computer.
Well, let's take a look. So if I do bookmark, as a student, where does it go? I haven't yet figured that out. Let's see. Oh, there it is at the bookmarks.
Oh, it stays within the course. Okay, so it's not really on your computer. Got it.
Yes. This also helps you.
I like that better, so it doesn't clog up my computer.
Yeah.
Well,
Insular,
what I was about to say, Patricia, which I I was going to say that it doesn't clog up the space of your shortcuts because the students themselves can create the shortcut instead of you having it to put, in the unit, but also somewhere like here in Blackboard, we would create the shortcuts on the left-hand navigation.
Mhm.
You don't have to do that anymore because they can just bookmark it themselves, so they can easily find that shortcut, and it takes them
I
right
don't
there.
know. I still like, I mean, it's the idea, some students have to be led around, you know?
That's true. That's true.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still like the shortcuts. The everybody gets this.
Right,
I
right,
do.
right, right. I think I heard another question.
Jose,
Okay.
Stan, the PDFs that I send them, although they are viewed on screen, it is essential that they download them and put them on their drive so that they have them forever. And they very often print them out in teaching software. We have
Mhm.
no transport in the room
Oh.
where they can drag and drop, so they must download all the PDFs that I give them. There may be 3 or 4 in a single assignment.
Right. Well, even though the PDFs open natively in Brightspace, they still have the option to download the PDF if they need to.
They do. Is it intuitive? It is a simple button, download.
Sure, let's take a look real quick. So, for example, this one, 6 parts when writing a review infographic. If I go there, I'm in as a student right now because I can see the check marks. So from right here, the student can just click on the down arrow for
Of
download.
course, the familiar arrow, and it brings it to the footer at the bottom, or maybe puts it right on the desktop.
Let's take a look. So if I do download, I can then choose the folder on my computer.
So you get a navigation pane, and the navigation pane, wherever you'd like to put it.
Yes, this is interesting too at the bottom, Stan. Look at this. It says I already have, as a student, I already have viewed this topic, and it gives me a timestamp.
Interesting, but maybe not necessary.
Not right. I just saw that now for the first time. But yeah, I love
Okay.
also. I love. Sorry, yeah, Rob.
No, go ahead, finish.
Oh, I just going to say this real quick. Is just that I also like that this little arrows is almost like a slideshow. You can just move right to left, and the students will progress through the learning sequence by clicking on, forward or back. And when they get to the end, they get a to-do list. What did you do? What did you miss? I missed this part, so I have to go back and do it. At the end of the learning sequence. So I like that too. That's nice. What were you going to say, Rob?
I had a question about assignments. Before, when you were in the assignment and creating an assignment, I think you said there was an option where you had to indicate, and I guess it's a required setup, that you have to indicate what type of file they're allowed to submit.
Yes, let's go there now. I think that was
You were saying you were saying I messed myself up with the docs or something. But so my question is, can you show me those options, number one, and then number two, can you give them multiple options, or does it have to be one option?
Oh, yes, I'll show you. There's multiple options. You could do a separator as a comma and then add the other file type. Let me show you that.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, there's many times I ask them for a PowerPoint, and I'll also say PowerPoint or PDF, and it gives them the option to do either one.
Sure. Let's go into this one that's already pre-made. So
and if you do a Word, what are we supposed to use? Docs with the X or just doc? Or I'm not sure. Again, that's why I want to just clarify this for a minute.
Yeah, and that's where it gets a little tricky because with Microsoft Word, right, there's many different file types in Microsoft Word. So this is what Rob is referring to here. Am I in as a professor? Yes, I'm in as a teacher. And then
you need to look at your settings.
Right.
Which I don't know where the settings are.
Actually, since I already completed that, let's just create the assignment right away here. I'll just go from the beginning, create new assignment.
Mhm.
And let's call this Unit 4, I think is where we are, essay. And here is where Rob is referring to. Under, I think it's submission and completion. And under category, we have submission type.
Right.
Oh, that's that's how
No.
you're gonna grade. But the one you're talking about,
Yeah,
it
okay,
says,
so it's a file submission, right?
right. And
Unlimited
then,
amounts, allowable file extensions, right. Oh, no restrictions, you can say, or PDF only. Uh-huh. Or custom. So
right. And so
I
this
would
is,
just leave it no restrictions for the most part.
but you can do this too, Rob. I can go, oh, well, I like PDFs, but I also like PowerPoint, and I also like DocX. You see how I'm using a separator?
What was that, a
The,
comma?
yes.
Okay,
And it tells you here too. It says enter one or more allowable file extensions separated by a comma.
okay.
And that gives you the power to then
Okay, cool.
it makes your life easier because then you don't have to go at your students and say this is what I want, just give me PDFs, which is it should be a professional way in a work environment. That's the way it works. So maybe get in
Right,
anyway.
right. And then one other question was, do you know if this system welcomes pages files?
Pages.
Because
I forget the file extension.
pages files from Apples and Macs weren't being accepted into Blackboard.
Can you remind me, Rob?
Students had trouble when they tried. Students had trouble when they tried to upload pages docs.
Sure, let's try it. I forget, what is the extension for pages? I forget the file type.
I thought it was pages.
I said pages, yeah.
It's pages, right? So it would be dot pages. I think someone.
Yeah, dot pages. Giovanni posted it there. Yeah, dot
Oh,
pages.
thank you, Giovanni. So there you go, right? So then if I do save and close, so this would be then the exception, right? I mean, this would be the rule to the game. It would be only dot pages.
But that
Well, I
would mean
guess
that
if
we'd
it
only have,
accepts it,
you couldn't
I
do
guess
that
if it
because,
accepts it, then Brightspace allows it if they accept it.
Oh yes, of course. As long there is a list I can send you, Rob,
Yeah, but
on there.
save and close. See if something doesn't bounce back at you.
Sure. Let me just fill in those required areas. Let's do 100. I will send you, it might be in my slides, but there is a page on their website with all the file types that is acceptable file types in Brightspace.
Okay.
There, it looks like it went through. So pages is only accepted now.
Right. Yeah.
but
Okay.
that means
well,
anybody with Microsoft Word cannot submit because it's
Correct.
only
Right.
for
Right.
pages.
No. Yeah. Exactly. I just wanted to see if it would bounce back at you,
Yeah.
but it didn't. So I guess they're more flexible than Blackboard.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Good to know. Good to know.
With quizzes, Rob, I don't remember. I think you used. I don't know if you used a generator. Did you? I remember. I thought it was you that used a generator for quizzes.
I used that generator from one of the colleges and universities. Yeah.
The Christian University. I remember. The same applies here, Rob. You can import those questions, but it will have to. You won't be able to use the same Blackboard generator. You're going to have to use a Brightspace generator. But
All right. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I gotta mess around with this thing when I get a chance. I think I'm really gonna start playing with this summer. I truly don't, I'm not gonna have time before that. I don't think. You know, part of the reason is I'm teaching a new course this semester, and
Wow.
you know, that kind of thing, and also 5 sections. So I mean, but I'm gonna dig into this a lot more, during the summer or I don't know, maybe if I have a little space, a little time over spring break, but I'll see. Right now, I got a lot of catch up to grade. But it's interesting. One thing I'm also wondering about, and I'm looking at is, but I guess I got to see how it shapes up once I start populating a course, even if it's a test shell. One thing I like on my course is that I can go in and when I put the screen up in the classroom, I can scroll down through 15 weeks, just with the titles of each week, and then I can kind of scroll down and look at all 15 weeks with them and show them what's coming up, and when spring break is, and when when the midterm is, and when the projects are due, and I use it as like a living, breathing, a flowing syllabus, And I'm not sure I see that. I'm not sure I see that kind of structure here so much, but I think it's just how you build it, really.
Yes, and Rob, this landing area or landing page for this specific course, if you don't like the way it looks, if you want to make it different, you can always change it here at the bottom
Right.
with the three dots. If you don't like these widgets, like Patricia said, you can remove the widgets. They
Right.
give you a lot
Yeah,
of
like those 4 boxes. See, those 4 boxes, it looks like then you got to keep going down to the next page, the next page, the next page.
Right. You're
You see
referring
what
to
I'm
this.
saying? You got, like,
This.
here it says 1 of 2, right? That says 1 of 2. If each one of those was a week, you'd have 4 pages that you'd have to go through to.
Right, and there might be a way to actually
Yeah, I'm
change.
thinking of making it more
Sure.
like linear to, I think it could be done just by changing that drop landing page, like you said.
Yes, and this is something that the committee is still working on. I know I heard from Jeffrey that the SUNY people are creating templates like that helps. You're teaching an online course.
Can I share my screen and show you something?
Sure, yeah, go ahead. I'll stop sharing.
If I can. Let me see. Let me just see. I think I have to go to Blackboard. Am I sharing now?
Yes.
I am. I mean, again, Jose, I'm sure once I start playing around with this, I'll be able to, do something very similar, because I know there's a lot of controls there that I'm not even picking up on right now. But so here, if I go to this, and you've probably seen my courses before, but anyway, so what I usually like to do is have, my 15-week learning units, right? So now when I'm in class, right, I can just flow. You see how it says learning unit 1? These are my weeks, right? Week 1, and then it goes all the way down to week 15. So every week in class, this is where we start. I pull up and just go through the flow. We see, where we are, where we've been, where we're going. So the other day, we were up to learning unit 10, going on spring break. Don't forget, after spring break, you only have a few weeks until the team presentations, May 11th, week 14. So we flow through this, constantly, and then of course I open, whichever unit. So next week, conflict unit, and then I always review the basics of that unit, and of course the content. But my point is not so much inside the unit, but this idea of having units where I can kind of scroll through it and it's all linear.
Right. I'm sure as we get closer and closer, I think that is doable in Brightspace.
Yeah, I think so. I think I just have to, play around with the structure and see how that lays out,
Yes. Lauren, yes. The answer is yes. We will give a sandbox to every instructor in Brightspace once the instance is available, once it's official and we have all the branding and everything, you will have a sandbox for you to play in the official instance besides the core shell. So yeah, it's a great question. We definitely have to have, we're definitely gonna have to have something like that to get everybody up and running. Especially, you know, they're gonna be stragglers. You know, even though we have this instance of this sandbox, this temporary sandbox right now, I can tell that many people haven't yet even. It's busy. It's a busy time for us. Right? You know.
Yeah, I haven't been able to touch it yet. I'll be honest with you. I logged on, I got my log on, and just now I was gonna I logged on again, and that's when I remembered I have to put the email address in there. But at the same time, I've got to give it some time to really, mess around with it. And I certainly want to mess around with it before I go moving any content from Blackboard, because I think that'll just add to confusion. So I'd rather just build stuff, play around with stuff, and see how it feels, with just rudimentary content like you're doing, giving things titles and whatnot. And then I wouldn't want to bring in my course, because my course will overwhelm, it'll overwhelm the site, and I don't want to do that yet,
That's a great point, Rob. I felt the same once I migrated my course over. I was overwhelmed with so much content that I should have. Yes, you're right. I should have played
Yeah,
a little more.
I just want to work through it first, see how it all feels, and go through it all, and then cross one bridge at a time, So,
right.
But anyway, listen, this has been very helpful. This was my second session. I thank you immensely for that, especially on the Friday before spring break. But listen, thank you so much. It was nice hearing from some of the other people as well, Patricia, Lauren, and others. Thank you guys. And
You're welcome, Rob.
I appreciate your input and your expertise with the experience you've had
and
already.
likewise, back at you.
It's always harder, right, to get the good questions. Right? It's easy to.
Yeah. These are.
I do have one last question. Where's
Okay,
Antonia? Where is Antonia?
Oh, actually, I had Antonia in person yesterday, so so it was nice to see her.
Group? She's still in the training group? Did she transfer out?
She's working remotely. She has accommodations, but she will be back, I think, summer. But I got to see her yesterday. It was a lot of fun. It was nice seeing her yesterday. So
great, sure.
Great to see her. Right. I'll let her know, Stan.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Robert, nice to see you too. If any of us had any free time at all, this group is so interesting. If we had free time, we'd be taking each other's classes.
I was just thinking that. I looked both of you up to find out what do you teach, and I was just thinking, gee, we can take certain courses. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I think you should. I've taken 5 courses over the past, maybe just only the past 10 years. And they're helpful, and they're interesting, and they're interesting on the content side, and they're interesting on the pedagogical side also, to see other styles of teaching.
Right.
Yeah.
That might be a feature in Brightspace where I can add someone as an observer or as a student, and then that's a great suggestion, Stan.
Yeah. Well, in FBM, in fashion business, many times we have what they call course coordinators, and so as course coordinators, I'm not sure, Jose, if you know, but we often add other faculty into our course, and they can observe and participate in the whole course all the way through the whole semester. So whenever we have a new adjunct, right, we bring the adjunct in, they observe the course. Even though I'm teaching it face-to-face, I mean, they can sit in face-to-face any day they want, but they also can see the whole course and have access to, viewing the course, and adjuncts just assimilate and acclimate much easier because of that. And we've also had adjuncts who sit in on the entire course. I've had adjuncts who sat in my course for the entire 15 weeks. And now the one girl is assistant chair of the department.
Wow.
But I mean, seriously, what happens is if people work with their course coordinators, both, sitting in on the courses as well as having access to their Blackboard site, It really makes for a collaborative experience.
I wrote it down as a suggestion, so I would love to, if anybody's interested, I'd love to take all your classes.
Yeah,
I get to see
I
your
will.
classes as I help faculty. Yeah. So I'd
Stan,
love to
raise your
see
hand
you,
twice.
Stan or Lauren.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a question, please? Repeat, please.
You had your hand up, Stan.
I'm so sorry. The reason is that I'm an idiot, but I'm sorry for leaving.
No.
Yeah, right.
Okay, we saw the hand pop up.
Robert, after seeing your shell, your courses are just too tough. I would never survive.
Actually, it actually looks scarier than it is. It flows quite simply. It actually flows quite simply. And remember something, I always remind the students every week how to use it, how to do things, what's next, you know, and it does flow. It does flow. And
Robert,
it looks more
Robert,
intimidating
are
at
you
the
teaching
start
it in the
than it
summer?
actually is.
Are you teaching it in the summer?
You're asking me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, hi. Yeah. No. This summer I'm teaching.
I would like to take yours and Stan's course, and I'm sure other
Well,
ones too.
I teach a couple of
I-
courses, but what I'm teaching this summer is my sustainability course.
I have
Sustainability and fashion
minors.
merchandising.
Yeah,
Sustainability and fashion merchandising is a
minors.
required course. What I was showing you earlier was a course that's actually kind of disappearing from our curriculum, actually. That course was called Team Development Workshop, which was a management course focused on students learning about, you know, conflict management, communication, problem solving, leadership, team development, group dynamics, and time management, listening skills, many of the core business skills that were needed. You know, I'd be happy to put you on the course Patricia, I could always put you on the course right now and you could look at it as an observer, you know.
I would love to, because obviously our disciplines really connect.
Yes, just send me an email and I'll have Lynn Kelly add you to the course as an observer.
What's your last name?
Robert Vassalotti, Vassalotti, Vassalotti. Vassalotti.
Vassalo.
Vassalotti.
Vassalotti. Okay.
Vassalotti.
See.
Napoletano.
We got the Italian connection here.
We got the Italian connection.
Exactly. I was listening.
I'm also Swedish. I mean, I can't forget that part of me too.
Giovanni's here.
Yeah.
Hey, Giovanni,
Jose, may I ask a quick question?
Sure, Lauren, go ahead.
Unrelated to this, but I apologize while I've got you on screen. I have a student who has a key question regarding Padlet. Can I send his information that you might be able to see an email from him this afternoon, or is it too late?
No, you can send them my way. I'll be happy to help.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
and the only other thing I was going to say is the only thing I was going to say was that this semester I happen to be teaching 3 courses. One course is on retail management, contemporary retail management, basic, you know, learning about retail stores, establishments, and retail theory. But the other one was, of course, the sustainability course, and then, of course, the team development. So I teach 3 courses this semester. Next semester, I'm focusing on the sustainability course and into the fall.
That's a big one at FIT, the sustainability.
It's a big one, and it's taken a lot out of me this semester because it's so much content. But that's why I'm going to just focus on that in the fall and fine tune it a bit. But like I said, it's become a required course, and in our new curriculum. Ann Cantrell wrote the course. As you know, she's involved with the Sustainability Council, and it's a great course. And Students seem to be enjoying it, and it's certainly a relevant issue, you know, in 2022 right now. But yeah, so listen, if Patricia, you send me an email, I'll put you on the course. Stan, if you want to observe that course, you can observe it, even though you got a little nervous there for a moment. I'm not going to require any assignments from you.
You know what would be helpful for my department, because I teach in both colleges, B&T and A&D, is to promote what we have, the A&D minor program. Those are my posters and flyers all around campus. I have your students in my class that I wrote for the A&D minor. It's the dean's program. And I can remind you with an email, if you wouldn't object, to promote the minor, this particular minor,
Sure.
your students, because
Send me the link to the minor, sure.
they'll be perfectly prepared. I'll send you the flyer.
Yeah, so I know what the courses are.
Yeah, you'll see the courses.
How many courses in the minor?
It takes 5 courses to get the minor.
Okay, sounds interesting.
The advantage is
Absolutely, I have no problem with that at all. I'd love to promote it.
Thank you. You're an ally. They graduate with a major degree and then they have a minor. They get the job because they go right to the head of the line. And
Excellent.
all courses
Excellent.
are being taught by people in business.
Well, let me know now because they're registering for fall, you know.
I'll send it to you in a moment.
That'd
Thank
be great.
Thank you.
Guys, I got to run. Thank you very much. Have a great holiday and good weekend, good break. Jose, thank you once again.
Thank you, Robert.
Giovanni, good to see you.
Grazie, Robert.
Jose, thank you
We'll
for your
have to meet in person one day in New
Robert.
York. We'll have to meet in New York unless I come to Florence.
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely. But the summer is coming. It's better if you come to here.
Yeah, that's for
Oh,
sure.
well,
Hey, I'll be close by. I'll be in Greece.
Oh, not very good.
I'll be in Greece, yeah. But I don't
Very
know if I'll
good.
be taking I don't know if I'll take the ferry over to Bari and beyond, but I will be in Greece. I'll be kind of close. Una fazia, una razzia.
That's right. That's right. Exactly like that.
My wife is Greek.
Okay, beautiful.
Born and raised in Greece.
Okay, lovely.
So we
lovely.
go there a lot, you know, to see family and everything.
oh, that's,
Well,
And you know, my
it's
grandparents.
the pearl of the Mediterranean.
Yeah, my
We
grandparents.
say is the pearl of the Mediterranean, the Greece.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. My grandparents were born in Naples, and my other grandparents were born in Poland, in Krakow.
oh, you too. So you are a mixture as well.
50-50. I'm 50-50.
Okay. Okay.
Polish
Well, I'm
and
Italian, Swedish, and English.
Very nice.
So my
Very
father
nice.
always used to say, "Look, it's 50% Italian." And my mother go, "Wait a minute."
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I gotta run.
Okay,
right,
ciao.
Thank you for listening to us all.
So long. Thank you. It's a pleasure to see all of you. A real joy.
So long, Stan.
Okay.
Take it easy.
Patience.
Okay, good.